Hello and welcome to Growing Tech Fast, the condensed podcast in which we discuss growing tech startups with those who are growing them. So today I'm delighted to be joined by Ido Ram. So Ido is a general manager with Anyword. So he focuses on the publisher side of the business, and Anyword is a natural language generation platform that helps marketers tailor their messages to their ideal audience. So welcome and thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So we've got about 20 minutes. We'll get straight into it because there's a bit to cover. Starting, I guess, at the start, tell me a bit about you and how you got into the world of marketing technology.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Israel. I started back in Israel. I graduated Tel Aviv University. And my first job was actually in marketing in an international publishing house where I manage a marketing department. Basically, we were in charge of all the digital marketing of the books of the publications. And that it also included email marketing, SEO, SEM of those books, promoting them on Amazon. So a lot of that. After a couple of years there, I basically applied to this crazy startup called Kiwi. Today, you guys know it as Anyword, and started there in customer success. I felt like that was my next path to go. And since then, I've been there for 8 years, or here for 8 years. Just graduated from customer success to managing a team, to managing a customer success team, and today to being the general manager of that team.
Wow, it's quite a journey. Is that what you expected then when you made that application all those years ago in Israel? Did you expect to be here now telling this story?
Not at all. Well, I never imagined I'll be, relocating to the other side of the world. I'm currently in New York. I always tell the story. I interviewed in this tiny office that was just above a shawarma place in Tel Aviv. It smelled accordingly. And that was before our round day. So we were like me and 4 other guys, all of them are developers. I was the only one on the business side. And I could have never imagined that we'll, within 6 months of that moment, conclude a round day. We'll onboard some of the biggest publishers in America or in the world. And a couple of years after, for me to relocate and build my team here. So absolutely a great surprise.
Love it. Well, that's like the perfect story that, we as a company at Org3D work with startups a lot, and whether they're pre-seed, Series A and onwards. But, when you're at that really early stage, that's the dream, right? To be, where you guys are at now, I guess, in terms of growth and stuff. So cool. Love it. So tell me a bit about Anyword. What are you guys offering and who are you helping?
Yeah. So Anyword, or again, formerly Kiwi, we've been around for almost 8.5, 9 years now. I've been with the company for almost 8 years. The company is roughly split into 2 groups. I'll try to cover both. Mm-hmm. The one that you kind of started mentioning, maybe the most impressive thing, when you go on our site, you'll see that we have an AI that helps marketers generate copy that is data-driven. Over the past 8 years, we've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on promoting social ads specifically for publishers. Mm-hmm. And we collected that data and used it to train an algorithm that now can help you with a few clicks of a button and a few things you tell it to generate original marketing language and copy for any need you have, whether if it's for ads, if it's for writing full blog posts, if it's to optimize the messaging on your site. And all of that is backed with data. So before you even start to test it, you already know you probably have a high-ranked, high-potential piece of copy that you just generated. So that's the AI for marketing language. And the other side of the business that's been here for a bit of a longer period of time where I work is an offering for publishers. So the AI is for any marketer, growth marketer. If you're here to generate leads, increase your sales on the site, anyone can use. The offering for publishers is specific for anyone, any marketer that is trying to build their audiences as a publication. We're here to help publishers in 5 different use cases, whether it is for audience development, push their branded content, monetize from ad, build subscriptions, or run commerce content. And we're lucky enough to work with some of the biggest and most well-known publishers out there, from the CNNs, BBCs, Condé Nast of the world, and obviously publishers like the New York Times was actually one of our investors.
Wow. So do you guys then, when you on the publisher side, do you specialize in those larger outfits, or do you work across the board as well?
So we work with across the board any publishers, from the smallest, most niche publisher that you can think of that is looking for very specific professionals in a field, and up to those big publishers that are driving millions of users into their sites a month through us. Obviously, each publisher will need a tailored solution, and that's what we offer: a managed service. Every publisher that comes into Anyword is being connected with a customer success manager that helps them build their strategy and execute it using our technology.
Okay. So is that how it works then? On the publisher side, you've got that managed services offering, and then on the AI side, is it sold as a SaaS offering?
Mostly, correct. So we do have support on the AI side. There is some support, also greater support for enterprises. But if you just are looking for marketing language support, just go in, create your account, you can get started.
Love it. Good stuff. And how crowded is this space then? Just out of interest, I've heard of similar companies potentially, but not exactly this. So yeah, tell me about what that looks like.
So yeah, obviously there are other companies that are building this solution. The advantage here is that we are so backed with so much data we collected over the years, and it's a lot of text-based data that we collected and trained through our algorithms. So I think that's one of the biggest advantages of using Anyword. Obviously, we are also very tailored for marketers, and we know what marketers are looking for, again, with all of the experience we have over the years of buying on digital online.
Mm-hmm. So was that like a natural move to, you had that publisher side where you're essentially gathering all this intelligence, and you're like, well, we've got all this great stuff, what should we do with it? Is that how it sort of happens?
Kind of. So for a very long time on the publisher side, our main development is around audiences. And for a very long time, we were very, very focused on audiences and audience creation and matching of audiences and content. And then roughly 2016, 17, we started to notice just how strong and how important is also the creative, the language in the creative. When you post a post on Facebook and you have that one shot to get your organic reach, if you'll use the wrong language or the right language, the lift can be significant. So as we saw through paid how important that is, it was very clear that there's a need for a solution that helps you get it right from the first go and helps you make much more informed decision in your creatives. And that's where we saw a very natural progression for our product.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, good stuff. So obviously you've been with these guys for many years, as we spoke about. You talked a bit about the journey of the company and your personal journey, but yeah, tell me, I guess, how's that been for you from a personal perspective, and also about what are the plans going forward? What's in store for Anyword?
Yeah, for sure. So as mentioned, I started as kind of the first CSM, first customer success manager in the company, and progressed into a team leader role, director role, VP role, all within the customer success team. So I at some point moved here to the US, started to build a team here. The whole operation was based in Israel up until a couple of years ago. And then I moved and started to hire a team here of customer success managers and copywriters. And in the last year and a half, I've also taken over our sales and our creative team and our product, or responsibilities over the product of the publishers team. So I kind of now grown over the business side of the publishers. I have to say, for me, the growth in 8 years was amazing. And it's just fun for me to start my day working on a challenge with customers, and then in the afternoon, think of requirements for products and work with our development team. And then the next day have a sales pipeline meeting. And then at the evening of that day, work with our creative team of how do we improve further our offering of their creatives. So it's a very great variety of things to do every week here.
Yeah, it sounds like there's plenty to keep you stimulated.
For sure.
Good, good. And yeah, like what about going forward then? What's in store for you guys, do you think?
So I think that a lot, the past, obviously, it's a cliche to say that this last couple of years have taught us a lot, and we had to go through a lot with COVID, and what happened to publishers through COVID. There was a surge of need in news and data, and publishers had an amazing moment through COVID, if you can say that, where users or readers just rushed back into the sites to get their information, whether if it was for local needs, if it was for the business side, or the financial effects of COVID, the health effects of COVID, what it does to us as workers and employees, and for hiring. So there were a lot of aspects, and people went and read or watched videos in publication sites. Through that, for us, that surge of users and that new usage of publishers showed us that there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more needs and a lot more business opportunities for publishers out there. So we're working to develop more tools, more features to help publishers to basically cash out on and monetize through those opportunities. We know now, in a post iOS 14 world, for those who knows the implication of iOS 14, that publishers are investing more than ever in building long-lasting relationship with the readers. They're not just looking for those one-off readers. They're trying to acquire emails or get users to sign up to newsletters. They're trying to create or help users create like loggings on their sites. And again, to build those relationships. We're here to help publishers do that, learn who their core audiences are, lead them to the right offering on the site, match the user per offering on the right type of content. So there's still a lot to do. We're building those tools just as a natural progression of what we've done in the past 8 years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, it really is. And do you see that, like, it sounds like a catalyst was, like you said, what's been going on. People, suddenly probably were, maybe homebound, but also had a larger appetite to find out what's going on out there. So that sounds like a catalyst, but do you think that was just going to happen anyway? Do you think that, that's going to continue, or was it, just a symptom of the time?
I'm not sure it would have happened anyway, not at this scale. But we do see that in some cases, and given some terms, it does continue. And relationship that started during COVID, for example, if I was if I was looking for news in my local area, what is opening, what is closing, is there a lockdown in my state, in my hometown, I started reading more content on my local newspaper that I didn't before. And now I can build that relationship. If I'm, as a publisher, was able to capture the email or sign you up to a newsletter during COVID, it is still very likely that you're still reading my content, or that I at least can get you re-engaged because I created that first match, that first connection directly with your inbox, directly with you on Facebook or on social. So it was a great moment to capture the user, and now we need to learn how to re-engage those users, or to move them from a free newsletter reader to a premium subscriber to that publication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But I'll be interested, partially because I work in marketing and advertising technology in terms of finding great people for companies, but also because I'm probably like a typical person where I noticed there are all these paywalls, and at the moment I'm not really like signing up to anything, but probably in a few like funnels somewhere with things that I've like signed up to for like newsletters or whatever. So I'll be interested if I personally make that shift as well, and and how that looks. But I'm probably quite a stereotypical case study right now in terms of what you just talked about.
So we'll keep track, and I do want to say, you are right, but try to think of the last thing you subscribed to and what made you, make that decision. Mm-hmm. I'm a recent new dad, I for a very long time didn't subscribe to many things. And now all of a sudden I have a need in high quality, interesting information that is vetted, that is coming from a high quality, high respected publication or publications. And that makes me now eligible to sign up or buy a subscription for those. And we all go through those life events, and we all go through those needs to learn something new, going to a new profession, and we need to learn something new for that. And we will always go to sources of good, high quality content that will help us to prepare for that new stage in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're predicting my future. Okay, cool. So I guess a good place to go now then. It sounds like there's some large growth going on right now in this space. Imagine you are scaling as well. So it'd be interesting for me to hear from your perspective with my connection to recruitment, what your take on things is now in terms of that market out there.
Yeah. So, we're hiring all the time. We just hired a new team member to our customer success management team last week. In the past 6 months, I think I hired 5 individuals in sales and customer success and creative. So demand is here. We're growing and we need more people. I do want to say, again, probably cliche, but the demand is very high and it's really hard to get people in. Mm-hmm. I think that what really helps us, especially in customer success, is that we built what we call the greenhouse program. When we hire new customer success managers, we recruit new or recent graduates with no prior experience, and we bring them into a 6-month training program. And that really helps us differentiate ourselves as a business or as a company that doesn't expect you to, come in with that knowledge before. We're here to train, to teach everything we know. We built a 16 weeks training program, which we really teach week by week. There are 2 topics that we teach, and then just go through them and actually help the new team members practice. And then the last 2 months are just a lot of practice before you actually start to become a customer success manager. So that helped us a lot. I think that a lot of young professionals or young individuals are looking for that break, and it's really hard for many companies to really, bring them in, train them, teach them. So we had to invest a lot of time and effort in building the program, and I think that we're, really collecting the fruit of that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that, and I didn't expect that to be your answer. I think that's really cool. Firstly, it's a shortage, right? So if these people don't exist, the number is not there, then how are you gonna wait until all these guys that are graduating have had 1 or 2 years experience, right, or whatever it might be? Well, so yeah, that's fantastic. I think that's shows a lot of foresight actually, and investment there at the beginning of that. But I think, in a year, 2 years time, you'll probably be in a pretty amazing position compared to some other guys that maybe aren't doing something like that. Yeah,
for sure. I think that for us, it really helped us make sure that those individuals grow internally. Our team leaders, all of our team leaders in the past, I believe 4 or 5 years, all grew within the company. We truly believe in growing the talent in-house. And that's why we invest a lot in the hiring process, but also a lot in the training to make sure we have the right match, the right fit here. And then from there, it's a lot of growing together.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, from a business perspective, you get to mold these guys, right? So it's,
exactly,
you guys are exactly what you want.
Exactly.
Okay, good stuff. Well, that's a great tip for anybody that's listening who is, struggling for talent right now. I think everybody is, like we are, in our space in terms of our company, we're looking for people all the time as well. But yeah, something like that with some long-term program to bring those guys in is fantastic. I think surely we'll see more and more of that. Like there are things going on externally, there's sales academy stuff, a lot going in the cyberspace, I think, engineering, code and stuff. That's all quite external. So be interesting to see if there are any sort of, smaller companies comparable to your own who start adopting that.
Yeah, that would be great. And if anyone's listening and looking for tips, happy to help anyone. Feel free to reach out. I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. And anybody, I'm sure, who would be interested in working for you guys going forward, I'm sure they can reach out to you as well.
For sure.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, I think we've just about hit our our time for today. But Ido, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure chatting. I'm very much enjoyed having you here.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really fun. And thank you again for having me on the show.
Cheers.